Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Super NACL Sunday. That's right, Game 6 on the horizon. Both of our series going the distance as Mirage Alliance clap back in Game 2 and have the chance to pick up their first ever series win in Spring NACL.
Some OT on our own and a potential comeback. Looking like a little Super Bowl script here for Challengers on Sunday.
I know you already had your guests waiting for you in the living room patiently. They got to wait a little bit longer because we got one final game ahead of us here, and I cannot wait to get into it.
Don't have Taylor Swift out there. Come on.
Yeah, they're fine. They're entertained. They got LCS caster Mark Rafa R&B.
Don't worry about it. We got to get back into this game and hopefully get the series moving because Mirage Alliance on the precipice of taking the first step to avoiding relegation in our league, which, given the names on this roster, was not the expectation, but they haven't been playing as a cohesive unit. I think they have had some members that haven't stepped up, but this series has been the best look we've seen from them so far. I think Prismal had his best game of the split that last game, and excited to see if they can actually find that 2-1 against a quality AoE team.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, I know I've been referencing a loss here. It means that it's out of their control. A win means that they still control their destiny. Not quite. Disguised and Team Liquid both have one series win apiece, but it's the fact that Mirage Alliance plays both of those teams in the coming weeks. So if they pick up those series wins and then Disguised and Team Liquid Challengers continue their rough trend, that is how Mirage Alliance avoids that bottom two and then going into that promotion tournament. If they lose here, though, they need to win those two series and beat FlyQuest Challengers, and then also pretty much hope the same is that Disguised and Team Liquid Challengers continue to tank after that.
And I gotta say, if you're a Mirage Alliance fan, I think that they've been having some good moments. I think RGS has been really good for the first two games. Prismal, that second game, was great. Even the first game on the Senna, much better. And I think that seeing like him step up and them, like the carries being a little bit better from Mirage Alliance, has been a lack of consistency on Prismal's end. He's had two consistent games. I want to see a third. He was fantastic in the last one. And that's what Mirage Alliance is going to need if they're actually going to get themselves out of the relegation hole.
I think that one of the reasons that this team was ranked so highly in expectations from the community, I had my reservations already going into it, but it was the expectations of mechanical performance from these players. And in this series, I don't know if you have the same read as I do, Cubby, it kind of feels like they are outperforming their opposition mechanically, even if some of their macro might be giving them some trouble.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I think that going back, I'd have to look. I think like there have been some decent moments. Like I know Onat played. I thought he played Ari decently well. I just don't think that Ari's strong right now.
Okay.
I know. I would have rather seen a Gragas that game, which I know Onat plays really well. I think Gragas into both Malachi Silas would have been fantastic. So that's like if you wanted a niche pick, I think that would have been really strong. But
I still would have loved the Udyr mid. Give me Udyr mid into that Silas and pick something else top play. And like, let's have some fun with it at that point. But I guess AoE might not be the team that really leans into that. Onat, like you mentioned, is more of that mage player. So doesn't quite line up with this champ. Well, speaking of, let's look at the champs that are no longer available for each of the teams.
I think it's really big that there's no more Ezreal for Prismal. It is his most played. And I think that we're going to see a big focus on the priority marksman. They've been being banned for most of the series, but it's kind of what Fearless Draft forces, right? Because like all these champs get banned. So if you want to not deal with a Kalista Ashe Varus in this last game, you have to continue to get rid of those picks.
Exactly. Well, I think Varus is the one that we should always see banned against. Prismal seems to be his most comfort pick.
I think so too.
And I think the Ashe as well. I don't see it as like a crutch at AoE kind of has to ban the same things because now Mirage Alliance have less tools to answer the things that have been banned so far in the series. Prismal on the Senna was new. It almost worked out for them. They had a couple of good moments. Prismal on the Ezreal is something he's played a lot of this split already. And Prismal is, even though he has had a great series so far, has looked like a shakier member on the roster. He's role swapping back from support into the bot lane with the last minute roster swaps going into 2024 and had taken some time to come online. But if he's able to continue to perform at this level, that kind of answers a lot of the issues that Mirage Alliance were having.
Yeah, and I mean, perfect time, right? Like, they're past the halfway mark of their season, even though today ends our halfway mark of the split, right? This will be their sixth best-of-3 play. That's 2/3 of the way through. Yeah. Strong opponents in the back half. I think this is a very important game for Mirage Alliance to win. Whereas for AoE, it feels like it's like a confidence booster at the start of their season, right? After this, they'll be 1/3 of the way through their split instead of 2/3. That's a big difference.
That's actually crazy. I didn't think of it in that regard.
It's crazy,
but you are right when you do the math. Again, not a math guy over here. You know?
I know you even though Calc 3 was a stopping point for you, you can't really put basic fractions together, which League of Legends has really rotted your brain if that's the case.
It really has, truly. I've lost all of my skills. What I can do is simple addition and subtraction, though. I'll tell you that right now. My card game experience helps me out on that front. But here we go. Pick and ban is on the horizon. We are into it, actually, for game number 3, the last game of the day.
Just here. We gotta make sure we're locked in. All right, Smolder.
Well, I can do
not
that too.
Playable. Not playable
you ready
for
for
AoE.
the mic swap?
Yeah, let's go. Let's see it.
Can you hear me now? I probably shouldn't do this. We didn't check this one for production, so I'm going to go back. Hopefully that didn't sound terrible. Did that sound awful, Cubby?
Way to flex the setup you've got, man. Yeah. I appreciate that. At the moment,
I never use this mic. I don't even know why I have it.
Flexing all the marksman bans, which we expected. Ashe, Varus still on the table.
Yep.
Again, marksman bans have been narrowed the entire time, and this is, again, one of the things we've been learning with Fearless Draft, is that when you take some things away early on, you have to continuously ban them. So we've actually seen bans get a lot more stale with Fearless Draft, I think. Just given that you are kind of forced to ban things like Callista Ashe on red side for the whole series if you don't want to deal with it.
And now no Varus ban. Okay,
that's fine. Mirage Alliance has to ban it. They gotta ban it.
AoE can grab it if they
Varus
want to instead. You're right. I wasn't thinking about that one.
They have a choice between Maokai and Varus, because Maokai cannot be played by Mirage Alliance. So that is a big pick that can be let through. And I kind of like the pit that AoE has put them in, because that Viban tells me they do want the Maokai.
Yeah, and they don't have to blue one it. They could if they don't want to show too many of their cards.
They will.
Because Mirage Alliance cannot draft it, they don't have to blue one it if they don't feel like it. It's Orianna ban, so Varus is on the table.
You leave both up. And so you would now but also, they can't even draft the Maokai.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying, man. AoE does not have the blue one Maokai because of Fearless Draft.
No.
Welcome to NACL 2024, Cubby. This is how it works. Varus locked in for Wixie, which means Maokai, honestly, they can wait till the second draft or second round, but probably not, because it will most likely get banned at that
You take him now. You take him now, and it's a really good start if you're AoE, especially if I'm Mirage Alliance right now, I'm like, they're probably going to play Maokai. Jhin is a good pick into Varus, not so much into Maokai, because you rush Frozen Heart, and you don't like that if you're Jhin. So, Mirage Alliance for me, they're already in a draft hole.
Now, what do we pair with the Jhin? I mean, if it's solo queue, I'm looking at Zyra. I don't know if that's going to work out here. Also did get some slight adjustments on the last patch. I don't remember offhand if they were net buffs or nerfs or not, so I won't talk too much on that.
Could look to, Xin. Oh my god, they're just going to slam Brand Jungle. I mean, if you want to deter a Maokai, that is one way to deter Maokai, by picking Brand on R2. Holy cow.
Brand Jungle has been nerfed. I believe it was both patches. The damage over time to monsters. I don't know if it was actually hit 14.3, but either way, the clear speed's slightly slower now on the Brand Jungle. If we're looking solo queue, I love Brand Jhin, baby. I mean, do you think Dardoch would play it?
I think it's time for some Maokai, Breezy. Or for some Nautilus. Just pick Nautilus. You could have the Naut into the Brand Jhin. That's really good to execute. Also, to combo that with Rumble Varus, it's already a really strong core that would be showing for AoE. I know it would drop the Maokai, but you don't exactly want to play Maokai into Brand. You already have a lot of magic damage showing in the Rumble. So, honestly, curious to see what AoE does. Quite the choice to have here.
Yeah, let's see what the pivot is, or if they just still go back to the initial game plan. Nautilus, you called it, Cubby. They're locking it in for Breezy.
All right. Now, if you want to get real crazy, I will somewhat advocate for a Tom Kench here. Oh, wait, it can't be picked? I already picked it. Dardoch picked it.
You're getting in your own head, Cubby.
You could Leona if you wanted to, but it would show that the Brand is going jungle, because we are, in theory, saying that this could be Flex 2 support if you want to get real solo QE.
And you see the Rumble, I think you could go for a top lane counter. The problem being Rumble technically could be flexed around too. Alorm has played the Scion already. It is a tank in his pool, and he's going for it.
We saw this Philip versus Surdy in a game 3. Surdy failed the all-in, but then Philip really got the best of him from that, even though they dropped that series last week. So this does give a raw tank, and it is something where now Varus doesn't necessarily want to go poke, because if it is poke Varus, they will never, ever, ever kill the Scion. So, again, interested to see where we go from here. You have to be a little bit careful. There are a couple picks that Brand mid is actually good into. I know that in Champs Queue, they were playing Brand mid in the Hui early on. Shout out to Insanity and Command Attack, who were being real gremlins on that server, playing the Brand mid. It was good, though. So that was one way that Brand was somewhat flexible, but these are this is part of the fun of Fearless later on. We get to see how things play out in real time. And when you start to remove some of these champs from the game, they're forced to come up with different stuff.
And I don't know if you feel the same way, but as the split has gone on, I felt less and less confident in what was working in Champs Queue is actually what's going to be played in stage games.
Yeah.
Did not feel like we actually saw that much overlap. No one's on Hwei right now. Nocturne as the ban. Okay.
I like those 2 bans a lot. You take away the hot pot combo with the Jarvan, and then Nocturne something else that can just go over the top, ignore the Scion. I think that's really smart. Also, Ori Nocturne wasn't used yet by AoE.
But the Ori's banned already, so they didn't have to worry about that too much.
Good catch. Yeah. Yeah, and no Nico, again, on this patch. So that's the other Nocturne combo that we've seen be really good. As Nico is currently disabled due to a game-breaking bug. I actually don't even know what the bug is, but I'm sure it's disastrous, you know?
Probably some Nico BS.
Yep. Rel being taken away that's something that would enable them to keep things a little bit flexible. I'm honestly really curious to see what Mirage Alliance does here. I think that they're showing a lot of cards. If I'm then, I would really think about picking mid to preserve that brand flex. If not, you could just take support here.
Well, once you see the Nautilus, I don't know if I love the brand Jhin bot lane as much. I feel like the brand can get Giga punished, but no, they are going to hold it. Okay, it's RJS back on the Jace.
So some of the Jace answers, I mean, Silas with the brand ult. Silas with the brand ult is scary. I will say that is doable.
True.
But the other ults aren't that good. I think, I mean, could just be a Zir here for Onat if you want to keep it simple. And I would... Okay, Syndra. That's doable.
Sure.
So you have a good pick potential against both Brand and Jace. But now it's got to be an AD jungler. So you're kind of relegated to something like Xin Zhao. If you do go Xin Zhao, I think
Viego?
Rundle is decently appealing. You could
think
Viego,
Viego's an option?
Yeah, Viego's an option. It is Rosethorn, too. He's always a very good Viego player. So
Yeah.
I think it's a decent call-out, but against
Hear
Brand,
me
you kind of get roasted.
Rek'Sai. She's coming back in the meta.
Yeah, it's gonna be Viego. First reset gonna be really important. There's the Leona. So it is Brand jungle, no craziness going on. Leona is something we've seen kind of rise back into the meta. Because people figured out that if you take the support item that isn't the upfront burst reduction, which Leona might still want to grab this game given the enemy comp, but you can take the healing one because Leona is so tanky when you proc the Eclipse. I think Leona's W is still one of the strongest basic abilities in the game, and you have a 4-second cooldown on the Q to trade early with the Nautilus, so you actually can win extended fights. Now, Varus versus Jhin, you don't really want the extended fight there. You just kind of want to take your initial combo and get out. But it is something that you can use to brawl with this lane, and does give Jhin a bit of an advantage in this bot lane. So I like the pick from Mirage Alliance.
Now, you were talking about the fact that Varus has to go on hit when you see the Scion. Do we think that still is true now that the Viego exists? Because if you're going Kraken Slayer, Black Cleaver, Viego, like, you might have enough to get through the Scion, allow the Varus to go lethality and hit that juicy brand, that Jhin, that Jace.
Yeah, I think it will be lethality Varus this game. Because I don't know if AoE wants to take, like, the straight-up fight. That's an interesting question. I know that Wixie, as a player, does somewhat prefer the on-hit build. And I honestly, as we spawn into the game, that's going to be the first thing that I look for on the scoreboard, because that's going to tell us a lot about the way that AoE wants to play.
Is it
I can
Comet,
see it.
or is it press the attack?
It's Hellblades. It'll be Hellblades.
Hellblades. All right.
No, it's lethal tempo.
There we go.
Okay, it's on hit.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, it's on hit. Varus, Varus. Yes, that front line, which means I'd say the brand has a slightly easier game.
Game 3, though. That's for sure. It is game 3. If I'm Brand, I think Verdant Barrier gets really tempting this game. As that shield against a Rumble, Nautilus, Syndra, Varus, you can get a lot of damage just from the MR and the base shield. I know that Brand wants to
Nautilus too.
An option. Yeah.
Speaking of, Breezy's walking really far forward here. Good damage on the Dardoch as he will trade up.
That's fine. Dardoch will just be sent to base, and Breezy can make sure that this gets in. Not going to look. The ward gets down for free. Okay here from AoE. All right. So this game, if I'm Mirage Alliance, I think that their mid-game, they need to hit really hard. They're going to have Jace power spikes. That's big. Dardoch can't base anymore.
That's really big, actually. That's about the potion.
Well played. I think Mirage Alliance have to hit the mid-game really hard. If Brand is able to ramp himself ahead, which this game should be played through the Brand, it's good. But I really love what AoE did here. They just made sure they dominated one side of the jungle. And Rosethorn will get in here unspotted for a little bit. When AoE get back to lane, there is a trinket that will spot Wixie and Breezy walking through the bot tribe rush.
And Alarm actually helps leash for Will onto the Raptors, so Brand Jungle, you really want to get to those 2 abilities before he can actually start to do a lot of damage. As he throws out the Q, W gets some power damage on anything that's already burning, so he's trying to maximize the clear 3.
This is really
tough, though. The big one.
I love this setup from AoE because you have Rumble into Scion. You are going to brute force push the top side. So if Will or Rosethorn really wants to mess with Will, he can actually go cross and take his own blue buff, and it shouldn't be able, like, it shouldn't be contestable from Mirage Alliance.
Let's see if he does just that. Takes away 2 of the camp spot. Will not go for the
He can even do his
Gromp.
Raptors and then go. Like,
Okay, he's going for the Raptors. This will get him level 3 before maybe meeting Will in the top jungle.
He didn't stay for the Gromp because Dardoch was fishing around, so this should get Rosethorn that level 3. He does have the option to cross. RJS is going to put a little bit of a scouting board down. But, I mean, Will is... He's just going to get the bad news. And Brand being set behind this early on is really big for AoE. I love the early game plan from AoE. I think they utilized the strength that they had in the lane and turned it up something really big. Like, he knows his blue buff's gone. So he's only got the Gromp now. He'll get... The bot Crab's even going to be contested. And I would say the AoE wins that fight early on. I mean, Prismo and Dardoch are still level 1 on the scoreboard.
Rosethorn's level 3 has both buffs. Will only have the red buff. And you're also a little mana hungry here as RJS goes for a trade. Ooh, Scatter the Weak does not land from Onak. Could have been a kill angle. But now with Rosethorn showing and using the miss, he's actually going topside. So no contest for that bot Scuttle. And Will is actually pinging and reading that, hey, he didn't have time to go for the Krugs. I can actually go down and take those.
He's got nothing to do. And I mean, he only gets the Krugs, though. It's so Rosethorn feasting.
I think it's fine. You get the Krugs and then the bot Scuttle.
No. Right? Here's the big thing. Rosethorn's playing for the Raptor respawn. Like, if I'm Rosethorn, I'm playing to contest the respawn Raptors from Will. So if Will drops that as well, he's going to be really far behind even in the second clear.
And Raptor's huge for Brand. He's able to melt those.
Yes.
And not necessarily known for moving around the map very fast, as Zamudo heavily trading against Alorm in the top lane. Almost chunks him down enough to get the kill. Will is hovering here.
This has to work.
Wixie and Breezy know that this is happening. Level up for Dardoch, level 3.
The Ono wins in level 3 against Nautilus. That's when you get all 3 of your abilities, and you do win extended trades. Will's not going to take it.
Look at where Rosethorn is.
Yeah, he's taking the respawn Raptors. I mean, this is the right move from Rosethorn, right? Like, once I saw Will cross, that's immediately the setup. If he wants to get really greedy, you could play for the Krugs, too.
Burn from Brand will be enough.
He's going to spot him here.
I don't think we spotted it. Oh, Rosethorn's actually coming around for the gank onto RJS. Flash is available. Here's Will. So Rosethorn says, nope. All right, cannot go for that. And all things considered, Will is still even in CS right now in the clear because Rosethorn has been spending a lot of time in transit, not necessarily just perma hitting camps, but he is going for those Krugs. So this is where he can start to get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big thing is that he denied both these camps. In fact, he might actually set up for the dive. We have Breezy level 4.
Good dredge line onto Dardoch right there. Ignite is down. Flash forward from Wixie. Can he snipe it? First blood. AoE's bot laner. Really well played.
Level 4 is hit, and now the action is to stop. They're going to try and dive Scion.
Teleport coming in from RJS. Rosethorn does tank up the turret. He can flash away and is out of there. That's flash out of Alorm and teleport out of RJS.
That's a lot burned. I would love if our observers could pull up the scoreboard again. I don't know if RJS... It doesn't look like he got a base off. So now Onat, he can return mid, shove this in, and walk back. And RJS is going to be way behind mid, too. So even though that doesn't win from Rosethorn solo, they still are able to get a little something-something. As Rosethorn is going to stick around. He hasn't shopped yet. He's going to try and get the crab, and he'll get it. And now... I mean, if I'm Rosethorn, I would base and I'd clear out, like, just deploy on the map and you can get whatever you want. This is where Rosethorn gets ahead. He's already denied 2 of Will's camps. Will has nothing to do right now.
He just saw Will complete the back there, so he could also just go for this instead. Teleporting from Alorm. Zamudo's going to push him top.
This is great. Rosethorn's way ahead. He's way ahead. I love how Rosethorn's played this out. I think it's been a really nice start to the game from AoE. I think taking 1 there, really smart as well. I think the AoE, I mean, this is a game where you're against a Brand jungle. You have some winning lanes. You have to play to set that Brand jungle behind, and AoE have done just that with their win con.
Rosethorn up a level over Will. A big part of that taking the second camp of the Raptors. And I believe he got the second camp of the Krugs, too, before going for that dive. So that gives you more XP there. Dardoch now hovering around in the mid lane. Will clear out this control ward. Dragon's on the table. Breezy's roaming up as well. Rosethorn's going to hit that level 6 faster than Will as things are going right now, but I don't think we're going to hit it before a dragon is started. But as I say that, Will Dardoch actually back off, so maybe we will.
I mean, again, Will has nothing to do on the map right now, and I think if Rosethorn takes 2 more camps, then he's close to 6, given that he did take one of the grubs. as Zamudo has a nice trade. Zamudo is a very good Rumble player. He was one of our first players that was playing Rumble last summer. When Rumble really started to crop back up in priority, he was willing to blind it. It was definitely a pick that he was very sound on. As you can see, AoE, the pressure is unrelenting into Will and this Brand. They have the winning bot lane, and they are just using it to take everything away from Brand. They have to be a little bit careful in this corner. They need to pull this buff out and retreat.
Yeah, watch where RJS is.
Here.
Yeah, big shot blast can do a lot of damage here. They engage in, and it misses, I believe. Although they still jump in there. They got Rose Thorn. Mirage Alliance will not allow that blue buff to go uncontested. They group up, and they will fight for it. Stun lands out of Wixie. Doesn't even use the cleanse. He goes down. Massive play for Mirage Alliance. RJS, where's the cooldowns? Doesn't quite have it. Breezy will get out there, but really well played.
I love RJS waiting in that brush forever. I mean, he is sitting. He saw the ward get spotted down. He waited here the entire time, and it pays off. They throw everything onto the Viego to make sure that he can't get the reset. Will flashes to hit the stun. I love that from Will as he hits both stuns in this fight on the Brand. And AoE they overplayed their hand there.
Yep. It's scary to group up in fights against the Brand, even if you feel like you have the lead. If you're there first, if you don't get that blue buff fast enough, you will get collapsed on, and AoE did just that. They're up in gold, but that gets Will back into the game, and more importantly, I'd say, it also gets some of their laners a little bit more gold in their pocket. RJS picking up a kill, Prismal picking up a kill. Feels really good for the Jhin early on.
All right. I mean, that's a huge play for Mirage Alliance. I mean, that got Brand pretty much back into the game, and now this is scary. Dardoch.
Dardoch's here, trying to lock him down. The root does not land as Deadly Flourish misses. Rosethorn just trying to get out of there, and he can't. Leona CC is just too much.
Oh, man. I mean, Rosethorn, his Viego, it's one of his better champions that he's played in Challengers. Alarm might be in trouble. He's got to get around to make sure
actually could look for this kill here, but Will's nearby. Throws down the Equalizer just to deter Alorum from trying to jump in there. Doesn't have ult, actually. Must use that to either get back into lane or earlier off screen.
We probably missed that one in the replay, as Silent's one of the few things that's louder than the new mom. That's how I know that Riot wants to sell.
This is a kill. That's a kill.
Okay.
Oh
boy.
Zamudo misplaying it. Alorum sets it up with that Q. I mean, there was nowhere else for Zamudo to walk. He didn't have flash. Really well executed by Alorum and Will there.
I mean, just like that. Will's level 7, Rosethorn's level 5. Think about the first clear. Everything for AoE was about setting Will behind, and Will was slingshotting himself back into the game with 2 positive plays. Rosethorn was level 5 for like 3 minutes straight because he was in the death chamber twice, just hit 6. It really feels like, I mean, this has kind of been a jungle war, which is, I mean, Brand turns a lot of games into that because either you set Brand behind or you lose mid-game. But now that Brand's ahead, Mirage Alliance is going to have a much more favorable mid-game where the spike of the Jace plus the Brand to be really difficult for AoE to deal with.
And the fact that Prismal got that second kill as well. Breezy's going to get caught here, stunned up. A lot of damage. Curtain has been called. Breezy, no flash available. Going to try and dredge line to safety. Oh! Can we bend the bullets? Nah. RJS and Will are there. There's no escape for Breezy as Onat's in a world of hurt as well. Dardoch with another stun. Will's walking up there, but Onat's out. Not enough range. Onat does get to safety, but Mirage Alliance are running this rift in game 3.
I really like how Dardoch is playing this Leona. Like, he's just carving out pockets of vision and then fighting. And if you're playing Leona in the melee-heavy teams, again, you have a 4-second Q cooldown as the Scorch almost got Onat there.
Very close, as we're going to take a look at the replay. I saw something happen. Oh, interesting. I didn't notice this happening.
Prismal does not have cleanse. He took heal. A little bit difficult to decide to go cleanse or heal when you're against Varus Nautilus. Yeah. Kind of like the Ashe thing, right? You feel bad going one or the other. That is a nice kill for Wixie as he gets ahead again on hit Varus.
Solid. 20 CS up, or I guess now 15 CS up. So Wixie has been carving out a lead for himself. As we look at the gold, he's actually in the lead.
I look at that deficit, though, from Rosethorn versus Will. Again, that first clear was really so much in Rosethorn's favor. Just turned on its head by how Mirage Alliance were able to play the map, and props Will for getting back into this one. As he's close to finishing up that Leandries, and that's step 1 of Brand really being a nightmare. I think 2 items is where Brand is just so deadly to go up against.
Yeah, it's just a nightmare. I mean, he's going to do so much damage, and I actually think that Zamudo dies here. Alarm's got the ultimate. Yeah, Zamudo. Not a wise move, my friend. Did not understand the Scion damage.
I mean, Alorum, that's pretty good for those decrepit hands in the top lane, man. As he continues to take it.
This is all he can play, Cubby.
Again, Alorum, I love having Alorum in this league. He plays his picks. He plays them damn well. I think he's been a really strong point for Mirage Alliance so far this season. And he's showing up in this game 3 again. I mean, Alorum's been around since the old promotion relegation stage. Him and Dardoch, right? They were playing in that old Challenger series.
These two were playing on Optic Gaming in 2019 together.
He knows,
let that sink in.
He knows what it's like to, you know, go through those promotion relegation matches. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to make sure that his team is fighting to keep their spot in Challengers League. It's a good kill from Alorum on the top side. Again, things looking really nice from Mirage Alliance. And this mid-game, like, if Sion gets ahead of mid-game too, I mean, he's so tough to move on the map.
Ooh.
Dredge line goes wide. It could have been a nice chunk onto Dardoch.
I don't even know if they wanted that, though. I mean,
I think
with Will there and Ultimate.
They wanted the chunk. They get the chunk.
I promise you, Breezy dies if that lands.
Damn, lack of faith in AoE.
That Brand has the Leandries, brother. He is going to output
That's true. He's pumping. He's pumping. He went the Darksteel, too, which I love on this Brand jungle. Because, again, your power is really all about the now. As at this point of the game, you should see Will start to really take over these jungle camps. They're going to play to see if they can find the Raptors in here.
They will.
And it will be all Will.
And there we go. Dragon has not been the priority for either of these teams. We'll have to walk back and... Oh, okay.
That's goofy.
He doesn't actually get it. No, the burn. Oh, Breezy, you were so close.
He still gets it. It's fine. That's a lot of bleed damage coming out from the Brand. Now Will. The passive procs on monster objectives are pretty thick, as Will's okay hitting this one on his own. Wixie will rotate around. Wixie is the one strong member that Mirage Alliance have to be wary of. They're pulling this towards bot side so they can turn and burn if they need to, but will not be contested by AoE. Free Dragon, Mirage Alliance.
Yep, and the scary thing is, yes, Wixie is the one that has gold on the side of AoE, but this is not Lethality Varus. This is a Varus that has to walk into range of the Jhin, the Jace, the Brand in order to output that damage, and that is very terrifying for an AD carry to do. Yeah, he's got the cleanse and the flash, but I can only go so far here, so a lot on the shoulders. Oh, the bag is stopped for Zamudo. Knockup lands, he has the flash available. Alorum could have just pressed R to trade flash, but decides not to. Actually, I don't know if he has the damage there at that point.
I mean, Tamuto's, he's just going to earn his ult to catch the wave, and that's what he's relegated to at this point. If Alorum takes a tower shot to stop this, yeah.
Yep, I mean, he just presses W as well, so he barely takes any damage there.
He could even cross the turret and go for this wave if he really wanted to. I think that all these based aways, it's just going to ensure that Mirage Alliance get this Herald for free.
I don't see a world where AoE can contest. Rosethorn's on the bottom side, clearing those camps. Leandry's now completed for Zamudo, so he can clear these waves a little bit faster, but he's now rotating bot side while they send Wixie up to the top lane. Herald started. It takes a while for this to go down, and Rosethorn is actually passing up here. Maybe. Okay, they just spotted it. They know it's pretty low, but Breezy is getting corralled right now. Flashes away. Dardoch's still going to try and lock him down. Dredgeline use. He dodges the Sion ultimate. Does not land. And now the Herald actually refreshes, so gonna take Mirage a while to take this. I think they'll still get it, but
it's a good reset.
A little goofy.
I mean, it just buys time for Wixie to farm, and you can see that they actually swapped up the lanes. So AoE put their bot lane top. They were done laning this Rumble into Sion. They're gonna try and swap things and get things into the Sion. Sion still has really good wave clear. So it's even gonna be tough for AoE to move him. As you can see, Alarm just nuked down the wave, and you can't even engage upon him. Takes some damage, but the wave's dead. Power's alive, and meanwhile, Rift's being dropped.
Mid. Now we can
mid-turret.
Curve, Drift Herald secured, and Mirage Alliance will use it to take down this outer mid-turret. Onat cannot stop that, and is actually in danger of getting dove himself. Has some backup coming in from support from jungle. Dardoch throws out the ultimate. Solar Flare down. Curtain has been called. Rosethorn and Breeze are here, but they're not turning onto Prismal. Or on the Will. They were looking at Dardoch with the wave around him, so they don't find anything.
Okay, so 2 outer turrets were traded, so overall it is a 2-for-2 turret trade, but Mirage Alliance, I think them taking away the mid turrets when they are setting up a poke comp.
They didn't get that tier 2. So it's a 1-for-2 turret.
Oh, it's up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's okay overall. I still think that swapping into the Sion is very difficult for AoE.
Yeah,
really
let's go,
tough to swap
Kai.
into the Sion.
Put it in Cubby's face. It didn't go down. Look at that.
Sometimes we all drop the ball, especially if you're Kadarius Toney of the Chiefs, even if they won. It's my last moment to fit in football references. It's gone for 6 months.
Well, you just spoiled it for me. I had planned on going back and watching.
Sure you did.
This guy.
Meanwhile, 2 weeks ago, Kangos was at my place, and I was watching highlights of the championship game, and he's like, so what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know what any of those things are called. But their jerseys do look pretty, I'll tell you that. You know what else looks pretty? This lead the Mirage Alliance find themselves with here, especially considering where they find themselves in the season. Yet to pick up a series win. This would be their first one, and a much-needed one, yeah.
Onat sees the dive coming, is able to get off. Will throws that pillar down for fun, because it doesn't quite get the Krugs, but the next one should burn.
Also, little tiny interaction. I know that it has not mattered too much, but I've seen Will do it a few times. Your W does enhance damage on anything that's already burning from your passive, so the correct combo would be like QEW, but all right. Rosethorn gets away just in time, actually. Slaps that.
A bit surprised they didn't look for that. As I can see the map, so I don't think they knew where Wixie was, but yeah, again, they almost got him that time. Rosethorn cannot go for that control ward. RGS one of the base, though. And he's going to TP back. They're going to power play into Onat now.
Oh, Onat's in a lot of trouble. He does not have flash. They can just go for the dive right here. Yep, Dardog zones him out with a solar flare. Good side sets from Onat, but the flash from Dardog says, you can't dodge that one, buddy. It's an auto attack. Gets the kills. Zamudo 1v1ing against the Lorem top side and not winning anything there. Okay, picture-in-picture didn't matter too much, but Mirage Alliance do find the pick onto Onat bot.
And, you know, when I watched this team qualify, it really was Dardok playing a lot of engagers. And I think that Dardok has played a really nice game on this Leona. I mean, he forced the flash of Syndra, then they follow up on the side lane, right? And it's really basic League, but I think it's really strong fundamentals that this is what I expect out of a roster like Mirage Alliance who have experience, right? I expect them to do good things like that. Like, hey, the game's slow, let's burn a flash, then let's attack it after. We haven't really seen that from them. It's been a little bit more disjointed, so I like the good looks continuing as they look for their first series win. And I think the second Drake on the maps don't have a soul yet. Will be TP to and knocked down by AoE, but it means that the top outer and maybe the mid or top outer and mid inner potentially fall. Dardok wards to protect it.
Yeah, they should get this. Prismal's walking up, just one or two autos from the Jhin.
They aren't going to get it.
Oh, Alarm gets one top though. Now AoE's looking for the fight. They have Zamudo linked up with the team. Equalizer could try and get something. Onat is not with them though. So this is a 4v4
He has no TP. He has no TP.
Okay, we are going on to RJS. He's got flash available. This is a really rough fight for AoE. I don't like the look of it to start off, but Mirage they'll take down Zamudo to start things off. They'll claim another one. Breezy's about to go down. Will cannot put his damage. Dardok still survives through it all. Breezy barely alive.
How do we all live? I mean, RJS got out with nada. Breezy got out with a sliver, and same with Dardok. That could have been a much more bloody fight regardless. I mean, once that Rumble ult doesn't connect, you cannot take this fight if you're AoE. There's nothing else to do.
I think the Rumble ult goes down to zone out the Jace path. Yeah, so they get RJS into the pit, but now they're kind of stuck too.
Look at the damage that Will's able to put down just from this W and R. The Q doesn't even connect, but you can just see the brand ult bouncing around. Rosen almost gets burnt from the passive.
Very funny how that played out. RGS actually didn't need a flash out of that pit. Almost flashed into his death, but it did work out for them. Well, Kevin, 2,500 gold lead. I mean, Mirage are in the lead here. I think that they are controlling this game for sure. It looks like a win in their book.
They still have to continue to hit this spike hard. I think that Varus can slingshot back, but Brand can get out of control at this point of the game. And this is where Brand is just absurdly strong when he has the Leandries and the Rylai's finish. So Will did a really nice job of accelerating himself back into this one.
Yeah.
I love how Dardok and Will are just playing around to try and find these picks.
Right before that, as speaking of picks, they might look for another one. Solar Flare. It's not on cooldown, and now it is. Okay. They could look for it now. We're fighting over nothing. We're just kind of scrapping right now. Look at that damage.
I just love how Dardok is positioning. I mean, he's positioning to catch everything for Will. And now AoE, they've overextended. That's scatter burn. They could go. I think Alarm should go.
Alarm ultimate. He's waiting for it. Now pops it. Landed onto Zamudo. Equalizer goes down, but it does not matter. That is a kill on AoE's top laner. Prismal's over the wall looking for Rosethorn. Flash away from both the jungler and the mid laner.
He got him.
Really big scatter of the week, but it's not enough. Now Wixie slowed. Has to flash himself. That would have been sure death for Will. And now Mirage Alliance pinging the Baron.
That grenade bounced so high to find the fourth member as the Locket Shield expired. Prismal gets the kill, and Mirage Alliance cruising to their first series win against AoE. I think this last game, the draft was really nice. Alorum got ahead on the top side, and AoE's got to look like what happened with like level 4 to level 5 from Rosethorn. I think those two fights, I mean, they just lost all the momentum that they had from that first clear, which I thought was pretty nice from Rosethorn. I'm kind of curious to look back on that one myself to see what ended up happening, because Will all of a sudden went from being down a couple of camps and having terrible options for his second clear to being level 7 to level 5.
I think it was AoE getting a little over-eager. Obviously,
Yeah.
I know that you like to stream those games again to look back at them, but the blue buff contest, they thought that they had the numbers, but Mirage Alliance was able to collapse, and that was the beginning of the end of AoE's early game. They do get a turret here, 3-3 on the scoreboard, but that Baron means that Mirage Alliance surely will get more done on the map. Will is so far ahead over Rosethorn right here, close to that 3 item, plus has the Dark Seal. Rosethorn line and wait, Dardoch just too tanky. Now they jump onto Will. Can they blow up the brand? No! He's into the stasis. Wixie's over the wall, has the cleanse. Wixie's got to do a lot of damage, but he's only hitting Allure.
No.
Cannot get damage onto the carries. Meanwhile, Mirage Alliance have cleared the carries. Save for Wixie and Rosethorn. There goes one, there goes another one. That is an ace for Mirage.
All right, well, RJS, he's popping off on the Jace this game, as they didn't pair it with the Maokai, but it came in at the right time. RJS is massive, and Mirage Alliance, again, looking like they are cruising to a 2-1, and the significance of this win, I mean, this, again, was a team that we had some expectations for, Kangas.
Yeah.
They were really not showing up, but I think this is the best series just from a team and individual perspective. Prismal really stepped up. He wasn't a liability. He was the exact opposite of it in this series. We see him raining down some curtain calls, connecting with all 4 shots. Will burning everyone despite going down, and you just cannot move Alorum on this Scion, who had such a good laning phase when he got counterpicked into the Rumble.
Everybody was looking at Will. Everyone funneled in to Will. And then Dardoch on one side, Alorum on another. You're not getting out of there. And once Will goes into stasis, Jace and Jin can just free fire, and they win that fight. AoE backs against the wall now, and I'm not really seeing a way for them to get back into this game.
I also really like Dardoch on Engage. I think that Dardoch has had a fantastic game. It really feels like he is dictating the pace of this one for Mirage Alliance. And when this team was winning, there were the terrors that were coming out of OQs. It was Dardoch, again, playing the Rel, the Rakan, the Nautilus. To such great effect. See him now doing this on the Leona. He got the counter pick. I really like Leona and the Nautilus as a matchup because you just have more stats and your Q is a lower cooldown. So if you continue the fight, it is good. And that's what Dardoch has really done for this game. AoE, of course, they sacked the Dragon. They were setting up topside. Goodbye, wave. Oh, Alarm didn't catch the back line. Yeah. All right, it's a bounty for them. But at what cost? As bot inner is surely falling in favor of Mirage Alliance, and RGS might be peppering
And
the mid turret as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mirage Alliance are getting a lot done for that. It's scraps for AoE, but it's now inhibitor turrets available for Mirage Alliance, and they still have the Baron to work with here for a little bit longer. They can walk this wave in. This is the last wave that will have the buff.
Look at this. I mean,
too much.
The Zanya's coming in too next for Will. He's not going to be able to be attacked in these later fights. This is pretty cooked, as it's been a very controlled game from Mirage Alliance until they took off. Oh my goodness.
What a shock blast from RJS. That was gross. Yeah, that gold grab had a little bit of blue on it. That was that early game that we were really excited to see AoE execute. They had a solid showing there, putting Will behind, but ever since then it has been all red all day long. All Mirage, as curtain has been called. We're trying to look for some damage here underneath the turret, but we don't have the Baron anymore, so we can't actually take the turret down.
Oh my god.
Will's
I mean,
damage.
that's one way to pick up a Dark Harvest, or as I like to call it, a Harvey.
Legitimately, if Alarm just presses
We
R
farmed
and
the
Will
Harvey.
presses R, I think they kill somebody there.
I'm forever cursed because one of my good friends called Dark Harvest, whenever we referenced it, we always just said, Harvey Dent, can you trust him?
And
Yeah.
I heard
now we
that,
farm
and now I've
Harveys.
been running with it too.
It's
So
great.
you're spreading it to everybody.
That's the kind of content that I need to spread.
RGS flashes over, gets flashed out of Onat, almost kills him regardless. Alarm taking a lot of damage, getting roasted here by Zamudo, and Breezy chasing him down, but he's going to live. Equalizer's not thrown down. Zamudo, you got to use that if you actually want to find this kill. Now Zamudo's going to get punished here. Equalizer dodged out by Alarm, and only was the initial chunk. Prismal using heal to try and save his top laner will go down. Rosethorn's in there into the thick of it, but getting CC'd, getting damage, double kill over to Prismal. And now the engage under turret. Dardoch wants to keep it going. RJ just hitting like a tank right now. Shooting down Onat.
2 for 3 in favor of Mirage Alliance. There's nothing to do on the map, so they're just going to get these waves in, a reset, and take the golden shop. As, I mean, we're blowing out the candles on this one. It's dinner's done. We just haven't gotten the check yet, I think, in the camp of Mirage Alliance. I think the way for AoE to get back, if they can find a sound pick with Cinder, Varus not, if Diego resets, maybe there's a chance for Rosethorn, but it feels like against a Scion, against the brands about the base and finish the Zanya's, that time's running out.
I mean, looking at Rosethorn's build, close to a wit's end, will be as useful as Sunscreen and a Hurricane based on how things are going right now. But I will say Zamudo close to the death cap. If you get that, maybe there's a world, but we're stretching here. This is all Mirage Alliance all day long, and you can see in this fight.
Well, I love these bouncing grenades. They've done some serious work as Breezy gets caught up. Nice buffer on the dredge line, but everything is cooked as Will. He's been the one cooking with gas here on this brand, quite literally. Zanya's again completed.
3 items, 9 stacks on Darksteel. Rosethorn has not completed Wit's End. At 27 and a half minutes into this game, Alorm presses R immediately afterwards. Said, never mind, not that one, guys. It was a joke. Wixie getting chunked by that shock blast, as now Mirage Alliance have Baron spawning right at this moment, and they're going to run up directly towards it.
Yeah, I will say Alorm, no R isn't quite ideal, as our observers are highlighting that Zamudo is indeed very fed, and have potential death cap coming in. He's caught, and he's
Never
dead.
mind. I mean, that was the one that could maybe do some damage here. Wixie as well, but Wixie's got to run all the way out of there. Mirage Alliance
Look
with
at the
a
damage.
solid
Oh my God,
turnaround
Bran.
from a very rough early game. Will holds the line, and Mirage Alliance benefits. The team steps up, and they will pick up their first series win. The season is not done for them yet. They still can make the comeback and avoid the promotion tournament, and it all starts with this series win right here. Good for morale, good for the standings, and good for Mirage Alliance. 2-1. They will take the series over AoE.
Honestly, this was a must-win series for Mirage Alliance, if we're being honest. Going to 06 and having to face TLC disguised in FlyQuest. I know that TLC and Disguise gotten off to very slow starts this season. I thought the TLC played much better against Supernova. Disguise continues to scale, and they're a team that has threatening individuals that are going to come together over the next couple of weeks. And FlyQuest are the top dogs. So if you're Mirage Alliance coming into this 0-1, like, guys, we have to win. We must at least put a win on the board. I think it's a real big confidence booster for these guys to come back against the team. Again, AoE, we had some expectations for them going into this year as well. I know that Will probably wanted to get that win against some of his former teammates and Org as well. So, got to be a feel-good for Mirage Alliance to put something on the board and not just have a win, but also have some real gameplay positives to take away from that series.
Exactly. They have 2 people that are also only picked up 1 series win ahead of them in Team Liquid Challengers as well as Disguise. So if they pick up those series wins, it's really putting them back into the conversation. I mean, I know it's tough, but this is the reality of the situation for 8th place. So that way they're avoiding the promotion tournament and making it into playoffs. I can't wait to hear from some of the members, because this is the first time we get to chat with one of the members from Mirage Alliance after their series win. We're going to send it to a short break and be right back with an interview after this.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Everybody for our post-series interview. 3 games, and Alorum's able to clutch it out at the end. Mirage Alliance pick up their first series win. Or should I say Echo Fox? I'm seeing your clothing right now. You're on Mirage Alliance, right? Just want to make sure I got that right.
I am on Mirage Alliance, but I'm just saying I was on Echo Fox. Dardock was on Echo Fox. I got to rep, the beginnings.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Well,
all right.
That's
Love
good.
the OG call outs.
I appreciate that, Alorum. This is your first series win. I know that last week I saw, after you guys lost the series, it was like time for you to stream some Melee, and I think the stream title was like just Depression. It's been a rough start to the split. You guys picked up a good win today. Is this like a building point for you? How's the last couple weeks of practice been for you guys? Obviously, it's not the start you wanted, but really solid win today.
Well, one, on the topic of Melee, it's Melee the pain away. When I'm having that depression after all these losses, I can lock in my Game & Watch, I can lock in my Samus, do a little net play, beat up some kids. Like, that's, it's all good for me.
I love it.
As for how practice is going, I will say that, we won the game, so it might feel weird for me to say, oh yeah, we had a great week of practice because, we finally got our first win. He's just saying that. But we actually did genuinely have a much better week of practice this week. At the end of our losses last week, we had like a 3-hour meeting between all of us. Like, just no scrim, just talking, where we really settled what we need to do and how we're feeling. And so once we hashed that all out, I think we have a much better understanding of how each other want to play, because what we have is 5 talkers on the team, 5 of them. And on usual teams, there's a chance that you might have 3 talkers, maybe 2, but we have 5. And so sometimes when we're playing the game, we've got 5 dudes yapping about what they want to do. I remember, I think it was our series against Lit when we were about to end the game. I'm playing Malphite. I'm hearing like 3 voices telling me, Malphite back in bait, or back in TP, Malphite flash Q this gen. Like, and there's so many voices like telling everybody else what to do other than themselves that we get lost because of that. But this week we've had a much better identity, and this game in particular, you could see it in the last game. While we're ahead, we're not having egregious mistakes that are just absolutely messing up the entire game, which is very normal for Mirage Alliance. But this time it looked a little clean, right? Like, it looked all right.
I liked it.
Dude, the reversal for Will. I mean, everyone gearing together to save Will's early jungle pathing and shut down Rosethorn was incredible to watch. So happy to see things working out for the team. I want to give you the chance, Alorum, to have any final shout-outs or anything. Anybody maybe watching at home or anybody that you want to hype up to close out the interview.
Just shout out, I guess, to the whole team. We've been having a very rough split, and shout out to anyone that thinks that the team mental is bad, because it's not. I know a lot of people like to talk about, our players might be having negative opinions, and I want to hear the comms. I bet they're flaming each other, but it's not like that. We're all trying to win still. I'm not going to say the vibe is flowers and candy, and we're giving each other kisses to the boys, but we're trying our best over here, and the attitude is, God damn, guys, I just want to win. And then all 4, 5 of us are like, I want to win too. And so we're all on the same page there.
Well, I know that you have a lot of folks cheering you on that are happy you picked up your first win. You got a couple series ahead of you that will put you maybe back into that playoff conversation. So best of luck preparing for those, Alorum. And thank you for coming on and chatting with us.
Thank you.
All right, everybody say goodbye. Alorum, it'll just be me and Cubby here to close out the show. Let's take another look at the standings before we're closing out. But also, before that even, it's the end of the week. So, standings, talk about it with me, Cubby. We no longer see a team without a series win.
Yeah, also, I think a big part about this week was actually Wildcard kind of falling in the standings, dropping both of their series. And I think Wildcard went from being that big surprise early in the season to now dropping 3 in a row. But overall, I am looking towards the race for relegation, because Disguise, TLC, and Mirage Alliance being bot 3, those have some pretty big names on those 3 teams.
Yeah.
And of course, Mirage Alliance, their next 2 matches are against TLC and Disguise. They will have next week off. But yeah, shout out to Alorum. I always love Alorum interviews. He's always very honest. He's been around for a while. And I know that Mirage Alliance have also had a tough start to the split, but I think that Alorum has actually still been playing well. So always love to see him show up and at least hear his thoughts. And he can play some happy melee to smash some kids, later.
Exactly. The unwinding in the positive way.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way that the standings shake out for right now. Still 2 teams at the top at the end of week number 4. No team is without a series win, though. Awesome to see that. But that means we're also at the end of the week, so we got some fun stats to take a look at. Let's look at the Samsung SSD Fast 5 to take a look at the fastest players on the Rift. Top lane, jungle, mid, AD carry support, all with their own criteria that we are judging them off of. Cubby, give me the highlights here that you're seeing right off the bat. Who do you want to hype up for some of the players as we're getting ready for week 5 next week?
I mean, the Aaron First Blood, just as minion spawn, is pretty hype. As like a wave 1.
True.
And Prismal beat it before minion spawns, which is kind of fun. Also, Niles, 30 seconds fast as the fastest 100 CS. That's pretty big. So
Better than perfect right there. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty quick. But honestly, I think that I'm curious, overall, jungle getting to 6, I think grubs actually really changed your strategy for jungle, because getting early grubs, that's really big for your XP bar. So I'm kind of trying to track, what junglers want to do. That's why I was talking a lot about the wolf starts today, because, that's something you can use to somewhat set up your early grubs take. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious how the meta continues to evolve there, as I think that grubs are still very much trying to be figured out by a lot of our teams.
I think that a lot of good points right there. Also, I've got to go back to it. Shout out to Prismal. What a fast AD carry kill. I don't know. That must have been during our series. When did that happen?
No, it was the Mirage Alliance played twice this week. It was yesterday against Maryville.
Okay, well, never mind. Yesterday versus Maryville.
Yeah.
Maryville also up there a lot. Shout out to all the players for their Samsung SSD Fast 5 stats. But with that being said, that's the end of the Samsung SSD Fast 5. We're going to close out the show. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, especially during Super Bowl Sunday. If you're watching the VOD after the fact, thank you as well for supporting. And for the people that subscribe to the channel during the show that directly supports the players. That's awesome. Thanks, Cubby, for coming on and casting. Everybody in production, behind the scenes, keeping the gears rolling, and the players for competing. We'll be back next week for week 5 of the NACL. And we'll see you there.